We're here right now at Herzl Park. We say that Herzl is the Chozeh HaMedina, the visionary of the state. And even though he wasn't around himself to see the establishment of the state of Israel, he got the wheels turning. He took our 2,000-year-old dream and he made it a practical reality. We're here, we're about to see his artifacts, and let's go.
So this is my collection of Herzl Memorabilia. It's the largest in the world. You can see there's so many items with his image on it: coins, medals, forks, spoons, everything. So here's an example. One of my favorites in the collection is Herzl in a bottle. We don't know how Herzl got in the bottle. Another thing that I love is this metal sign for Bulgarian shoe polish. But if you look at the tin of shoe polish, there is a picture of Herzl on it.
So what's the story behind this sculpture here?
This sculpture was in the East Side Tourist Center in Manhattan. It's about the largest bust of Herzl that I have seen.
They really capture the lusciousness of the Herzl beard.
Herzl, the man with the beard, but he was just not a man with a beard. He was a man with a great vision and brain in behind that beard. I know you guys love fish, so believe it or not, in my collection, I have some Herzl fish-related items. So the first is this, which is an advertisement for Herzl brand sardines, which were Portuguese sardines sold in Eretz Israel, and it actually won the gold medal at the Levant Fair, which was a fair in Tel Aviv, exhibition in 1934. And if you thought that's crazy, imagine the possibility of there being a second brand of Herzl sardines, and these are Herzl brand sardines. And I should say, I learned that a sardine, when it grows up, becomes a herring. So that's
interesting.
That is true.
And as a special treat, unrelated to fish, but I know you guys are interested in this subject, here's some watermelon.
Wow.
The Kinneret and the Jordan River, right?
Yep.
Depicted on the watermelon.
How in touch was Herzl with like his Jewish identity?
There's a myth about Herzl that he didn't know anything about Judaism. It's not true. He had a bar mitzvah, or the equivalent of it. He knew he was Jewish. He experienced anti-Semitism for all of his life. He was at a college fraternity. He quit because it became anti-Semitic. There was political parties in Austria at the time who were anti-Semitic. He knew about it. He was in touch with it. It didn't move his soul. He realized that the Jewish people were in danger in Europe. He realized this earlier than anyone else. He just didn't sit around whining about the future. He wasn't fetching and saying, oh, wouldn't it be great if somebody would do something to help us? He did it. He decided to do it himself. This is a set of postcards, and this is a New Year's card.
It's King David, eh?
With a giant fish, the world.
The Leviathan.
They're Leviathan.
So in Sefer Bereshit, when Hashem created the fish, he created two fish, a guy and a girl, and he shechted the girl Leviathan so they couldn't have more offspring, and he put the guy in a jar. They say, Rashi said that when the Mashiach comes, we're all going to eat the shechted Leviathan, and that's why Jews eat herring, to practice for the Leviathan.
Bimhera b'yameinu, quickly in our day.
And we got Daniel the Lion's Den, of course.
King David on the harp.
Shimshon Gibor, absolutely mucking the heck out of those columns. Who are these people, Avi? Who are these lads?
These are people on the Benaharot Bavel, on the rivers of Babylon.
On the rivers of Babylon.
Oh, where we sat down and wept?
Streaming of Zion.
A special gift for you to take home. This was an Israeli banknote from 1955, and it has the traditional fisherman on it.
Yo!
So
That's so ancient Judean. That's lit. Look at this freaking history right now. This is so cool. Thank you so much.
that's what I
Back when it
have.
was liras, before we...
A lira was before the shekels.
Yeah, the shekels were our currency in ancient times.
This is like a Davar Kadusha over here. Can't touch this without going in the mikvah first. There's no way. Avi, what are we looking at right now?
We're looking at some old Palestine currencies.
Palestine pounds, not a weight loss show. This is the old currency
Make sure to show that
from the British mandate.
Aleph Yud, Israel, as we always called the land.
Don't be fooled.
They had the currency printed before the name of the country was known. So the first Israeli currency was a Palestine pound.
That's not good for Hasbara.
No, it's okay. Why?
It would be better if it said Israel. When the partition plan happened, were they going to call it Palestine? Like, do they have a name for it already?
No, so interesting. We can get to that if you want. This is the report of the United Nations Special Committee on Palestine, which came up with the recommendation to partition Eretz Israel into a Jewish state and an Arab state, with Jerusalem as an international city. And this was the subject of the vote on November 29th, 1947. And then here is the map of the partition resolution. So this is what was recommended by this commission and approved by the United Nations. The blue area is a Jewish state. The pink area is an Arab state, with Jerusalem as an international city, but embedded within the Arab states.
So was there a name for the Arab state and Jewish state, or was it just
No, the Jewish state, so that's a great question.
When did they find out they were going to call it Palestine?
Well, they didn't call it anything because it never happened, because then it became Egypt and Jordan.
So the November 29th, 1947, when this resolution was passed, was a day of jubilation for the Jewish people in Israel and around the world, because finally we would have a Jewish state. And it was, even though it wasn't great, and you can see it would have been very difficult to have contiguous points to drive, and this area is all desert, so much of the best land was in the Arab state. But David Ben-Gurion and the leaders of the Jewish community in the land of Israel said, we'll take it, and started to prepare for the British to leave. They had 6 months to leave. On the Arab state side, no steps were taken to prepare for that state. The only thing that they started to do and continued to do was attack to end the Jewish state before or at its birth.